Welcome to Black Owned Spotlight. I'm your host, Darnell Beckford. Welcome to Season 2. I want to thank everybody for nothing but your love and support. If you haven't checked out Season 1, check out Season 1. And I want to thank all the businesses for showing us nothing but love and support. You know what it is? Roll the highlights. Welcome to Black Owned Spotlight. On this episode, I have none other than Chef Jasmine, CEO and founder of Beyond Amazing Donuts. How you doing today, Chef?
I'm doing well.
Thank you again for having us here. So the first question I want to ask is, how did you came up with the concept of Beyond Amazing Donuts, and how long you been in business for?
Okay, so that's kind of loaded. I knew I was going to open up something. I went to school to learn how to be a pastry chef. My ideas ranged from maybe an empanada truck to biscuits. And back in 2014, I actually saw an ad for a donut food truck, one of the first donut food trucks here in Charlotte. And I applied for it. And I just really liked the job. And I knew then I wanted to open up my own shop. So we've actually only been in business here for almost a year. July 29th will make a year, so next month. But I've been operating Beyond Amazing Donuts for about 4 years in total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, to have your own space, because not a lot of people know exactly what they want to do, what kind of business they want to open up. So why donuts?
So going back to culinary school, I just really enjoy breads. I like working with my hands. That was like my favorite class, hands down. And I knew even then I wanted to do something in terms of learning more about it and kind of crafting something that was simple, kind of like a donut, but making it a bit more unique.
Okay. And now, besides that, what are your best sellers, and what are the many flavored donuts that you guys do sell?
So our menu is pretty short and simple. I like to keep it that way to be able to use local and seasonal items. So we have 6 staple flavors, and those flavors are always on our menu. But then we have 3 to 4 seasonal flavors that I like to change depending on what's available. Our staple flavors are kind of flavors that I made along my journey as a pastry chef. So they're inspired by my friends, my family. Our most popular donut is actually the brown butter with sorghum caramel. And that's a flavor I made to kind of pay respect to my grandmother that passed away. She would eat just regular white bread with molasses and softened butter. So I was like, okay, that's pretty simple. How can I turn that into a gourmet donut flavor? So we browned the butter to get those buttery, nutty notes. And sorghum is kind of like a maple syrup, but a lot of people don't know that. And I didn't even get introduced to that until a previous job. So we just take that, we turn it into a caramel, and it's our most popular flavor. But people kind of taste it and they get butterscotch. So I like being able to take memories and what I've learned in school and so on and so forth and throw that on a donut base.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I was doing my research on you and your amazing shop, I read that you have different pop-up locations when you first got it started. You went to Camp North End and different other places to kind of introduce your donuts. I'm like, what gave you that marketing idea?
That's crazy. So my second donut job, it was this guy back to 2016. He was doing a donut pop-up in the NODA area of Charlotte. And he's actually a musician. But in his free time, he would just put on these pop-ups and Evening Muse and other businesses in NODA. And I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, that's a clever way to kind of get people like get people aware of what you're doing, do small batches, and kind of just generate a following that way. So I took that idea like years later, and I partnered with a local coffee shop, which is in Camp North End by the name of Hex, and they just allowed me to use their space every Saturday. You can find us out there carrying a variety of donuts, and that's kind of how I was able to test my recipes, get people familiar with me and my brand, establish my staple flavors, and just really develop a following as to like who I am, but also like beyond Amazing Donuts.
All right, and the last question I want to ask is before we get a tour of your beautiful establishment is, what is the most difficult thing about having a business, and not only having a business, but Black-owned business, and specifically a donut shop?
I would say one of the most challenging things is, especially being in the South, everyone sees donuts and they automatically think like Krispy Kreme.
Right.
And getting people to understand that like, yeah, we're making a donut, but just like how there's Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, whatever, we're offering a donut to our standards and to our liking and whatever, that means to me, not necessarily to them. And there are many ways to, I guess, kind of feature that one item. So our donut base is actually a brioche base, and a lot of people don't know what that is, but it's an enriched dough. So there's more eggs, milk, butter. It's a little denser. It's fluffier. It's not like Krispy Kreme. So part of the reason why I chose the name like Beyond Amazing Donuts is because I want people to kind of think beyond what they're typically, aware of or used to, and kind of go on a journey with us in terms of experiencing the flavors, learning something a little different, and just kind of expanding their palates. So I would say that has kind of been challenging and rewarding at the same time. And then I just mentioned my lack of patience. So having a staff for me is a little like, woo, come on, guys. But then it's also, I guess, an inward thing for me where I'm like, all right, Jasmine, you've been here before, so provide that space for them to mess up and get there along the way. I feel like for me, those are the biggest challenges.
All right, so now we're here with Marcus, one of the workers here at Beyond Amazing Donuts. So how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing amazing.
Good. So what are the different types of donuts that we do have here? Because I definitely do see some selections here. And what are your top 3 best sellers?
All of them, of course, man. Come on, now at a shop like this, everything is amazing. So everything's a top 3, right? But out of our crowd favorites, number 1, starting off with brown butter with sorghum caramel. This is our number 1 seller. It consists of a burnt butter and the glaze, and then we top it with a sorghum caramel. So for those of y'all that don't know what sorghum is or asking the question, what the heck is sorghum? Sorghum is a grain, gives you the same earthy, nutty profile as a peanut would. So those of our friends that are allergic to nuts, it's a great way for them to get a try of a peanut flavor. Okay. Number 2, for our seasonal flavor right now, our blueberry French toast. Is our number 1 seller for the seasonals. With this, you got a blueberry glaze with an oatmeal crumble on top, and then we drizzle it with a little bit of that maple syrup.
Yes, sir.
So you get a nice fruity and a sweet texture from it, taste from it, and then again with the oatmeal on top, you get that crunch to give it that French toast texture. Outside of that, one of my personal favorites, and of course the kiddos, can't go wrong with a pink sprinkle or a raspberry sprinkle. With it, you have a raspberry puree for that glaze. We add a little bit of lemon zest to take it up a notch and bring out that pop from that raspberry, top it off with a nice rainbow sprinkle.
That's amazing. I definitely gotta try some of these. I ain't gonna lie to you.
We serving up big back energy this year, baby.
All right, so one of the main questions I want to ask you is, what was it like working for Chef Jasmine, being a predominantly Black-owned business, now a Black-owned business, but it's run by a Black woman? How did you feel coming to work every day, knowing that you work for somebody like her and it's somebody of our people?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes it is intimidating. Because dealing with a young Black woman such as Jasmine, she's got the dream she's overcame that dream. She's conquered her dream. You know, she has the drive. She sees potential in people that we don't see in ourselves, and she's definitely gonna push you. So working for her has definitely helped me grow as a man, as an adult. Definitely have matured in the short period of time that I've been with her. Give her a couple headaches here and there, but greatly appreciate her for, you know, keeping me around and keeping me in line.
Yeah, so I heard that you guys have Mr. Chime Time in here. What was that like to have him here try out you guys' products?
Amazing Donuts in Charlotte, North Carolina. The reason why I stopped here is because I'm lost. I stay getting lost, boy. Damn. I haven't had donuts in a while, and I'm in the mood for donuts. You chose to name this place Beyond Amazing Donuts, and damn it, they better be beyond amazing, just like you said they are. I ain't playing. Let's see what they here now. Starting out with a glaze. Uh-oh. This glaze. This is good.
All right, so I'm not even gonna cap. I didn't know who he was when he walked in. He had the whole get up on, had shades on, had a hat on. I was like, uh-oh. You know, not gonna lie, I thought he was homeless. But be that as it may, we treat everybody the same. We want everybody to have a great experience. And, you know, once he took off his facade, I was like, I kind of know this guy, but I can't put my finger on it. But it anyway, served him a box. And it had a couple of our seasonal flavors that he really, really enjoyed, man. And all I know is I think 2 days later after he had left, he had posted a video and I got a text. It was like, who served this man? And I was like, dang it was me. But lo and behold, from November, after Thanksgiving when he came, from then till about March, we had been nonstop, selling out every day before 11, 12 o'clock some days, you know, making Jasmine stress out like, yeah, we need to make more dough. But even still, the chime time effect is still very much in effect for us because, again, we have people coming from 2-3 hours, you know, down from Atlanta, Florida, you know, just on vacation passing through. It's like, hey, man, I saw your video on Chime Time. You know, I had to come stop by. So it's definitely been a blessing.
Now, I have a question, though. You guys were ready for Mr. Chime Time, but now are you guys ready for Mr. Keith Lee to come in here?
I wish he would. I wish he would. I'm gonna act like I don't know you, but if you do happen to come, just know you're gonna get the best customer service. You're gonna get some Beyond Amazing Donuts, and I know you won't be upset.
All right, so Chef Jasmine, we have here some donuts here, samples. Tell me about these 3 donuts that we have here right now.
Okay, so this one is our blueberry French toast. As I mentioned earlier, I like to use items that are in season, and blueberries are currently in season. So we actually take the blueberries and we reduce them down with a little bit of sugar, and we take that reduction and we turn it into a glaze for that donut. And we make a oat crumble that goes on top, and we drizzle it with a little bit of maple syrup. So it should give you all of the vibes and taste of a French toast a blueberry French toast. And our base, as I mentioned before, is an enriched dough, so it's going to be a little fluffier, a little denser. It's not going to be as like quickly melt away in your mouth as maybe like a Krispy Kreme donut. Did you want to go ahead and try, or do you want me to go to the other one?
I'm going to definitely try one of these right here.
Greedy.
There's no such thing as greedy.
Oh my God, that's good.
So this is what I meant by like our dough being a little denser, a little richer. It's going to be like fluffy, like more, I guess, on a bread type of texture on the inside. It should bounce back the way it did. The structure is nice and airy, and that's kind of what our signature style here is going to be like.
And I'm gonna try what's these other 2.
Okay, so this one is the chocolate honeycomb. I didn't want to necessarily do like a Boston cream donut. So this one is a chocolate glaze, and it has like a dark chocolate pastry cream. So think like a pudding. And the center that you see is a honeycomb, and it's like a toffee-like candy. Just be careful, because I don't want you to like bite down and like poke yourself in the mouth. But you can take some of the pieces off. Over time, it kind of dissolves and it creates like a caramelization in the pudding itself.
Let me try one of these.
Oh, that's not the one I was talking about.
Okay.
I was talking about this one. Did you get the pudding? Okay.
Take me right back to childhood. Get those little pudding cups for the lunches when you go to school.
Well, first of all, it's going to be a lot better than that.
Exactly. Yeah, snap packs.
Okay. And then the last one is the one that I had mentioned, which is the brown butter with sorghum caramel. So we do take the butter, we do kind of burn it so we get those nice buttery, nutty bits. And then sorghum, as Marcus had mentioned, is a grain, and it comes in like a maple form. So we take that and we turn it into a caramel. So it's gonna be nice and buttery, it's gonna be sweet, it's gonna be a little nutty. No peanuts, so if anybody's allergic, you don't have to be concerned.
Perfect.
You need some water.
I'm gonna need some more.
Yeah, I know.
This tastes so good.
Your face. That good?
Yeah.
Your whole mouth, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get you a napkin too. After every bite, the donut kind of springs back to its natural shape. And for me, that is a good sign of a rested, well-proof, well-fried donut. If you would have bit into it and it just like collapsed, then the structure of that isn't correct in terms of a brioche dough.
We tried all three of these, and I'm going to say they all taste very good. You can definitely taste the difference between when it's bounced back versus when you bite into it, it's very dense. How do you get your inspiration for these recipes? Donuts?
I do look. So I love going to the farmer's market, and I like to see what's available there. I like to also take my time and kind of test whatever fruit or vegetable is available to see if it's at the peak ripeness to be able to use in shop. So all year round, we get people who ask me oh, where's the strawberry cheesecake? Where's the strawberry cheesecake? And I'm like, when strawberries are in season, because I want people to have the best representation of a strawberry flavor. I don't like to use any food colorings or artificial flavors. So the best way to get that flavor is to wait until it's available throughout the season. I also kind of check social media, see what's kind of going on, see what other chefs or just like-minded bakers are using. I do get inspired by my peers or just people out, on the web, Beyonce's internet. But not only that, but just throughout connecting with my friends. Pretty much all of my friends are doing something within this industry. So Rice Krispie treats, right? Mm-hmm. My friends Daryl and Oscar just did a pork fat Rice Krispie treat and had all this other stuff on it. And I was like, who thinks of this stuff? But they're the owners of Jimmy Pearl's. And if you don't know about Jimmy Pearl's, you really should check them out because they are phenomenal chefs. They actually just got nominated for a James Beard Award, which in the culinary world is being nominated for an Oscar. Right. So they are up there in terms of the way they think of stuff. So I get inspired by my friends. I get inspired by just sitting in here and talking to my staff about what flavors they would even like to try. It's kind of a collective effort. Even sometimes customers come in, they're like, do you think you'll do blah, 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 blah? And I'll be like, well, how about we take this and then do it that way? Yeah. Then they'll be like, yeah. So I don't know. I'm always thinking though, I'll see maybe a slice of pizza and I'll be like, how can I turn it into a donut? So I'm not afraid to use both savory and sweet items. I'm not afraid to use fruits and vegetables. I did a butternut squash fritter and they were absolutely fire. And people will be like, squash? I'm like, yeah, but it's no different than maybe using sweet potato or whatever else. Don't just limit yourself to donuts being one thing, which is sweet. A donut can be a variety of things. At the end of the day, my base is just bread.
And another question I want to ask as well here is, if someone was to come up to you and be like, hey, Chef Jasmine, I really want to become a pastry chef. I want to have my own business. What advice would you give them?
Ask for help. I feel like for whatever reason, we're too afraid to ask for help. And then when those of us who have the knowledge to help, we gatekeep it as if there is some reason as to why we can't help the next person along. And I think that has been what has helped me get to where I am is I just asked for help. I literally I would go on social media and I would have these long posts of detailing how I couldn't figure something out, and then strangers from all over the country would just chime in and help out. Even when I was getting my recipe together, I reached out to a pastry chef in Florida because he does donuts like globally. He literally is contracted to go out and open donut shops. And I was like, hey, I'm having this issue. I don't even know if you're going to see this message, but he responded. And it's like, you never know if you don't ask. And like those of us who do have the information, help the next person. Like there is no point in being selfish to where you can't help the next individual get to where you are, if not higher. So like I know that for myself, whenever people ask me like, hey Jazz, this is what I'm thinking, do you have any insight, do you have any resources, I'm always quick to be like, well, this is what I have, here's what I can give. So
Chef Jasmine, again, I want to thank you for allowing me and my camera guy to come into your beloved home and try these amazing donuts. And I want to shout out to Marcus as well for giving us a great tour. So I want to say this, and I tell everybody this, we are so proud, we're so thankful for you.
Oh, tell me to cry.
Just to branch out and actually start something from the ground up to call your own, because not a lot of people can do it and a lot of people are afraid to take those risks. And I'm seeing that you are not afraid to take that risk, and that risk is rewarding you with amazing product and amazing people. And I can't wait to see Beyond Amazing Donuts mobile,
right?
And in different states and all across the world. So thank you so much for having us here.
I enjoyed
really appreciate this. See you guys on the next episode of Black Owned Spotlight.